Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the WTRL Zwift Racing League. We are out on day number one of the finals. We are covering the Women's America's Cup tonight, and it is taking on the new Scotland course of City and the Sker. It is a 45-minute race, a little bit different format we got out here today. We covered the European race as well. You can go back and watch that after you watch this live broadcast, of course. And it was definitely very interesting the way that this caused a lot of pressure today, I think. Dave, Nathan Guerra here. Dave Towle next to me, as always. Dave, what did you think about the racing earlier today? I'm excited about what we're about to watch, but I think we have a little bit more idea of what to expect after we've seen it for one time through.
Yeah, thanks, Nathan. I completely agree. The racing was super exciting and the format is tremendous. So, how many times have you had friends or family ask you, well, do you know when the race is going to end? And you can say, no, I don't, because the racers will race their race and that'll be that. But here, we know it'll be 45 minutes. So it's a timed race, but all the elements that we've gotten to know and love from ZRL and WTRL are still in play. So, Nathan, it was amazing how combative it was out there. You used the term attrition, and that was exactly what it was. Even more so in the very strong women's field than the men's race. The men went faster, I would say. The average watts per kilo were in the low 5.2, 5.3 average there for everybody to stay in a group of 30. So it was incredibly aggressive, very, very points heavy. So the tactics were at an all-time high. So yeah, I give it a double thumbs up.
Yeah, tactics were definitely interesting between the men's and the women's racing. And you're right, the men, I mean, it was a little bit more controlled, it felt like, on the women's side of things. But speaking of the women's side of things, though, the ladies are out on course. They have started their first climb. Let's go ahead and get on into it. The attacks, pressing the pace, it looks like. We could get a little bit of a replay if need be of how things have played out so far. But really, it's been Grupo Compacto until this moment. They're out on the city in the Sker, and they're hitting the Sker. Now, it's all together. But this, before the show, Dave, we were talking about how excited we were for this race, and that's because all of the big hitters are here. Everybody who's anybody in America's East has shown up, and they are here to race. It looks like it's Kolchinski. I think today, she's just here to play her cards. Like, everybody knows
She's going to
kind
go
of what
off.
she's holding. Yeah, exactly. They know what she's holding, but she just wants to make this as hard as it can possibly be.
Oh, yeah. My heart goes out, as they say, vaya con Dios, to every other woman out here. Kristen is going to go mental chicken oriental out here for that Virginia Blue Ridge 2024 team. Nathan, I would say, and I mean this with all of my heart, first off, thank you a ton for choosing to cover this group of women. This is nothing but Champions League that we're looking here in our ZRL finals. If you go through and look at this roster of, it's really basic. It looked like a small field because it's relatively small. We've whittled this down really to the top racers out of the league. There's not a name that I don't recognize, Nathan. I don't think I've ever been able to say that before. That's how familiar we've become with these women following along with the racing all year. I mean, it's your Annie Polands and your Cassandra Rushes on OTR. And how about Florizone, Megan Florizone, the Canadian, and Meredith Moran on ATP. It's not just Kolchinski that we've had out here, but Kristen's been a big part of it. And that's who we're following with now. If there was ever an athlete, Nathan, that needed no further introduction, it would be Kristen Kolchinski.
Let's give us a minute here, guys. We'll get the images back here in just a second. One of our feeds just, I do have the images in front of me. They're just being a little bit of a struggle here. So maybe, Dave, can we chat for just a second as we try to get these images back about this new format and how it works out? The FALs are still in play. The FDSs are still in play. And then we still have some extra points if they go through all the banners. What is it, 4 times in total? And then at that point, I believe was it 2 times in total? And then at that point, there's an opportunity to get more points the more meters they go past.
Yeah, some extra credit out there for sure. Nathan, I'll let you do what you're doing. So, yes, the FTS and the FAL, those are tried and true formats here. First, and that's probably what Kolchinski is going to be doing out there right now, is picking up FTS. Those points are fluid. They can change throughout the day. That's a segment that will update. Now, The FAL, first across the line, that's really a standard bonus situation. The points are distributed linearly from the top down to the bottom, just say from 10 down to 1. I believe that's the case here. So those points add up amongst your team. These teams come in relatively, I haven't mentioned Riot yet, and that should be obviously a big reveal, as this is 4 riders. They started with Grossman, Rathwell, Russell, and Reel. So we're back, though. So great, Nathan. That's going to be Kristen Kolchinski on the front. You can see it looks like the entire Riot, at least 3 Riots are there. Lieberman is going to be on the ATP team. She's the Seattle-based rider who's a tremendous climber. She climbs like an angel. So that's going to be Rachel Lieberman that we're in with now, the pink and gray of ATP. They more than hold their own out here. Allie Bronson also on the team, and then Jennifer Santoyo, another rider to watch on that squad. But it looks like Kolchinski's going to go up and over the top there, as Kolchinski now taking back over in the lead here, Nathan. So it's definitely dynamic. That group has already been halved. It's going to be a very tough day. It's 45 minutes, exactly 45 minutes. The racers will stop in place. We'll see how far they got and how many points they can collect. So back to you, Nathan. Good job. Nice. Marlis Mejias is here, the Cuban rock star out racing today.
She seems to have brought her climbing legs today, Dave, as Mejias is in and amongst some of the top climbers in the world of Zwift racing. And that seemed, up front to be one of the places she may have struggled a little bit. And, honestly, on Zwift, it was one place that I think that we've seen that. And to see her able to even make it over one time, I'm extremely impressed with how far she's come.
Nathan, I just want to say, and you've helped me a ton with this. You know what she's done is learned Zwiftcraft, exactly like the woman you've got on screen right now, Emily Ehrlich. They both have listened. Kolchinski's been an amazing mentor on that VBR 2024 team. And she has really helped these athletes get up to speed. I don't know how much she's directly worked with Marlis Mejias, the Cuban, but she's definitely been available. And Marlis is a super smart lady and is not ever been afraid of the work. Her ethics are incredible. Nathan, when you see her out, she's just one of those. You know who she's like? A female Rigoberta Urán. She's got a rock star presence to her. Back to Lieberman, who, again, the ATP rider. The points are going to be really stacking up out here today. That's the name of the game as we're looking at. And, we should talk about power-ups, Nathan.
This is rough. This is rough right here as the anvils come on through, and they are adding 50 kilograms of weight to their bodies now. And Riot now coming through with Jen Reel. She picks up a perfect anvil to get back on terms with Jean and Quinones. And will they make the juncture up to Kolchinski is going to be the big question. Even if they do, Kolchinski will hit it again on the uphill, but this is really getting interesting because of the amount of mayhem behind. It looks like there's going to be a group that coalesces behind here. They've got a lot of speed.
So
I think they'll catch Jen.
I agree. I think Jen is smart to get into that group. It's going to be a 7-8 rider group here in just a moment, is my guess, and they will be able to make some headway out here. The dynamics. No, I don't know that they see Kristen Kolchinski again today, and you could never undersell how talented Kolchinski is. Nathan, have you ever met a harder worker than Kristen? I haven't, to tell you the truth. She took on the task. She was top 10 at the World Championships. To be honest, the finale just didn't suit her talents. Once she made it into that group of 10, unless it wasn't about her ability, it was just she wasn't the right horse for that course.
And talking of the horses for courses,
you agree?
This fits her gallop perfectly. Oh yeah, I agree.
Yes.
I agree. And this is exactly the kind of course that she wants. Because as you can see, even if they bring back with anvil power-ups and a pack, even if they bring her back within striking distance, she's just going to do her thing again. Yeah, and just keep it steady at the front. Now, the only thing that could happen is the team starts working against her in some sort of way, but her teammate is getting dragged up to her actually by Jean here. So Quinones, she's going to jump on the train, the KK train in just a moment if she can. I think the rest of the group, Anna Russell is in that group, just it looks like at the back here for Riot. And they said that their tactic when it comes to Kristen, when she does these kinds of things, let Kristen do her thing. We might lose more by trying to match what she's doing. Let's focus on what we can accomplish. And they seem to be doing that pretty well right now.
And I 100% think that's the right strategy. Listen, this is where you got to pick your battles. And what they're doing is smart. You need to race against the rest of the team and beat them. They got to focus on Ehrlich and Mejias today, and they still have a chance to win the first of 3 days of racing. I would say Kristen Kolchinski is much like a 8-month-old husky dog as far as trying to control her. If she runs away, if you're able to find her and bring her back, all she's thinking about is attacking again and running away. That's 100% her mental energy is getting away from this group out here today. And eventually, with that relentless mindset, it's going to be, again, don't waste your energy fighting a battle that you really are going to use every bullet in your gun and be left standing there empty-handed for the finale. This is the rider you really need to worry about, if you ask me. I mean, obviously, Ehrlich here is going to have a huge impact, and VBR 2024 is starting to really pour it on, Nathan. We're coming up on a third of the way into this race. This is like the interval world championships.
Yeah, and Dave, speaking of Emily Ehrlich, and I think she's really coming into some peak form right now overall. Obviously, we were mentioning before the broadcast. She recently won the in real life stage race. Is it Tour of the Valley of the Sun? Is that what it's called?
It was Valley of the Sun.
Valley of the Sun.
It was Emily Marcolini, Nathan. While we were talking, I looked that up while you were working. I just kind of fool around over here, so I looked it up, and it was Emily Marcolini who won Tucson Bicycle Classic GC. But you're 100% correct. Valley of the Sun, which, very comparable races, but it's the season openers of stage racing. That's just a great sign for Emily. We're so impressed by her.
And it used to be that this VBR 2024 was a team that, you had the mega uber star that was Kolchinski. And then I think she was like mentoring along and helping and leading this team. And I'm not putting down any of the past results of 2024 in this space, but like, how do I say this? They've rounded it out so well at this point that now they've got like all of these stars in their own respect that are able to show up and make something happen. They're such a more well-rounded team at this point in this year. Because Ehrlich, if they can't take it with Kolchinski, at this point, they just throw Ehrlich on the sprint, and she can follow moves almost at the level of what Kolchinski's currently pulling off. And then Quinones now is on a whole nother level than I've seen from her before, being in amongst this league group at this point. So I really think VBR 2024, they've taken it to such a new level in this 2023-2022 season. I mean, it is definitely the new 2024. That's for sure.
Amen. It wasn't that Kolchinski got much better. It was that everyone else, you said it right, Nathan, not throwing shade on what was going on in 2020 during COVID, as Nikki had a lot of athletes that were riding with the team and enjoyed the process, but just weren't quite at this world-class level. Now they find not only one, not only two, it's more like 4 riders, and that's what it takes out here. You're right with Quinones and Marion as well. I mean, it's Marion Lawson, Nathan, another one, so it's just been amazing. This is Ehrlich that we're in with now. She's going to have a good run as a professional cyclist. It's really fun that she's part of our Zwift world as well, just like Los Adahist, right? Emily Ehrlich could be world champion in the next few years. That is not at all. There are some Highland cows that we're looking at. Highland cows look very, very comfortable, flopped over there, not Kolchinski attacking them. It's this group that's chasing. Remembering that Kolchinski's had her nose alone in the wind here for a while, and she's not going to shy away from this one, Nathan. For her, this is
not making it easy. She's not making it easy still. She's forcing Lieberman to still make a pretty good effort here.
Lieberman's amazing. She doesn't get enough credit talking about Rachel Lieberman. This is the best race we've seen from her so far this season.
Yeah, this is really impressive, actually. But I do think that for Lieberman, she is similar to Kolchinski for the kind of race that she wants. She wants a race that's just steadily difficult, steadily hard, go to the front, and just push the pace as much as you possibly can. And I think Lieberman is excited, I have a feeling, to be able to show up and just throw down some climbs and keep a really high, steady pace. So we do see the chase there. Mayhez, as you can see,
the other way,
and a few others going. Yeah, and there's a chase behind them, even as well. Wow, cool. This is crazy. Annie Poland on the front of that fourth group there. The separation is massive at this point.
Why was Kolchinski having a unicorn head during the Grand Prix finals?
I was actually going to talk about it. I was going to talk about it in the broadcast. I was going to make a joke because it was just a bug. There was just some
It was a
sort of
bug.
a bug
That was not
in
something that
it
Kristen
was a
did. Huh? She's
cosmetic.
so
No,
funny.
no, it was a
Yeah. Okay.
cosmetic bug, and I was going to say something because we had the unicorn jersey in there with socks for Watts, and I was going to be, is today the special day for socks for Watts because everybody's wearing unicorns, it looks like. But yeah,
That's
there was
so
just some
funny.
sort of a
Yeah.
graphical bug that came with one of the, I think, broadcast builds or something along those lines. So I
It
actually asked a question,
happens.
and they were like, "I don't know what's going on." Yeah.
Those are actually those kind of bugs I enjoy because it's just a talking point and fun, like the hat that Emily Ehrlich is wearing here
Look
today.
at
I
the
believe that's
three
called a
from
Yorkshire Plat.
VBR sitting
Go
on the
ahead.
back now, Dave. Look at it. What do you think's going on here? That they're just allowing them to do the work. It looks like.
This is quite impressive as far as tactically here to put three in the front group and getting the others to ride. So, wonder what's going on. I don't produce you, Nathan, but I do wonder what's going on behind them. Um, are
Well,
they going to
Megan
be joined?
Rathwell is smashing
Uh huh.
the pack that's on the chase. It looks like here.
So,
Her teammate
and Jen
Jennifer
Real.
Reel trying to come across.
Did I tell you I saw Jen Real in real life in Texas a week ago, and she's doing great. So fun to see. She rode in a breakaway with Megan
Did she
and
hit she hit a
Emily
podium? Didn't she?
Newsom.
I think she got third
She was
place.
third in the pro race. It was absolutely. It was one. It
Wow.
has to be her best in real life result. I've seen her at Belgian Waffle Rides, but she was the director for the women's team at World Championships too. She's got a lot of knowledge in that head of hers. Talking about Jen Real, San Antonio, Texas, the home for her. Kristen Kolchinsky there on the front out of Long
One, two,
Island,
three.
Montauk.
1, 2, 3 across the
So they
line
were
there.
saving it up for a monster attack.
I thought that might be what they were up to, was just waiting
I
for
felt
the
like they
line
might
rather
be.
than pushing it. Yeah. So
It makes me
Lieberman
sad. No, it
and
doesn't.
Will.
The girls are fighting back. Good. Here we go. Hey, Nathan, we haven't even had a chance to shout out my team of the year, Optimum. It's Anne-Sophie Terrain, Marie-Pierre Lefevre, Michelle Jean, the Pain Machine, and Natalie Champagne. And Raider Laberman to the front now, Nathan. This is going to be ATP in the pink. Four teams in the race today here. ATP, Optimum, OTR Racing, excuse me, five teams. OTR Racing, Riot, and Virginia Blue Ridge 2024. And this is Rachel Lieberman, who certainly gets a gold star next to her name for being a very active, ambitious, courageous racer with a lot of capacity to take Kolchinsky on like this. She's locking horns with one of the best. And certainly you can see now, here we go, right on cue. Optimum is coming. Michelle Jean.
Yeah, it looks like Kolchinsky now hitting the wheel of Lieberman. You're right. Optimum, though, on the attack, trying to pull things back together because you know what? Kunonis and Ehrlich, I don't think that they're going to work with her. They're not going to pull back
I
Kolchinsky, I
agree.
would think. So they'll just sit in and wait and pounce for points every time that they can, unless the opportunity arises for them to get rid of Gene at this point. So, man, no quarter given, it feels like, when it comes to VBR 2024. They really are taking it
They
to the
could be a
field at
little
this point.
nicer about it, right? I'm just kidding. Wherever Nikki Cranmer is, she's laughing, I'm sure, because it's like, look, in this sport, you take the wins where you can get them. There really are no gifts, and this is really a lot of hard work by these ladies to get to this point. So it's great to see them executing. We love Optum, though, right, Nathan? This Quebec-based team, they've been a lot of fun, and
They actually have
without
a
a
men's
doubt,
team, Dave. I just recognized. I didn't know that they had a men's team,
hey, I don't
actually.
mind. I don't mind living in a world where the women's team is the feature squad. To tell you the truth, Nathan, that doesn't. I'm not having a problem with that
Yeah,
anymore.
me
But
neither
I
at
do.
all.
So,
I just am wondering though, like I'm wondering how they're doing up against the likes of like Velocio and some of these others that they're having to race tonight. So maybe if
yeah,
somebody's in chat is wondering what's
we'll
going on
find
there,
out.
we'll get some information about how that's playing. But as we focus here though, Ehrlich now goes to the front. This is interesting, Dave. Is she going to take up the helm when it comes to pressing the pace and allow Kolchinsky to sit in now? That would be an interesting swap of roles.
Can you imagine how stoked Kolchinsky was when she found out that Ehrlich had done her work and was ready to race like this with her, and how much it improved the chances of VVR winning?
Yeah, I remember actually a couple years back where Kolchinsky would actually voice like, "I'm looking for riders." Like I'd have a
She would
conversation or something
actively
with her and
recruit.
be like, "I'm looking for
Yeah.
someone to race with. I need somebody to race with." And I think this is a moment now where it's completely changed up, where there's a lot of ability for the team to play a lot of different cards, and all that weight doesn't kind of sit on just one person's shoulders. And when that happens, things can really gel a lot, and you can kind of find this. The team dynamic just becomes so. Um, there's just a lot more passing that can go on. Passing that baton of like, hey, you take the ball, it's in your court now, you go for it. You can sit back and let somebody do their thing. And it's just so much fun when you can find those kind of supportive moments. It's cool to see that.
I've seen so many racers, Nathan, talk about the thrill is not necessarily in the crossing the line first. It's in the execution of team tactics and being able to be in that field of play. And I completely get that. Winning is the cherry on top of the cake. We're going to go back to the Chase group now and pick up Megan Rathwell. And let's see what we've got. A couple of Riot riders, Rathwell being one of them, Jen Reel the other, Marlies Mejias in this group. So let's see, Nicole Steinmetz there as well. And this is going to be Anne-Sophie Therrien.
Yeah, Ulmaran is there also for ATP, and Bronson just hanging on the back. So ATP do have some good representation in this group. Theron, though, continues to press the pace for Optimum, so she wants to try and bring something back or break those that are in this pack at this point. She is getting a little bit of a 1 second gap, it looks like. On the day, it seems to me, across the board, Dave, everyone has gone with the gravel bike. I haven't picked up anybody that's grabbed anything different. I think you'd have to be kind of crazy to try and grab any kind of different bike. But they're in here on that gravel bike, making her move at 4.5 watts per kilogram. She is being chased a little bit by her teammate here. She's backing off now as Rathwell now heads to the front at 5.3 to make sure nobody goes anywhere just as of yet. Behind, it is going to be a group. Well, actually, Christina Grossman solo here out on course. 4.6, holding a gap to Annie Poland. That's 9 seconds back. Also in no women's land with Anna Russell here on the trace, maybe trying to bring back Poland and try to work together with her perhaps to get up to Grossman's wheel. Unless maybe Anna would just sit in on Poland and allow Grossman to go, I would think.
Sonia Foote, the other New Zealander out here, besides Anna Russell, the two riders racing down under there. That's Sonia Foote that Nathan is finding for us.
Look at her setup here. Look at this.
Pretty badass, I'd say. I'd be terrified that woman was going to unleash a wicked attack out there. Nathan, I really want to shout out all the women while we have a brief moment here. This is the first time we've had this 45-minute race format. So, again, it has been a tremendous experience following along all season. Hasn't been a moment that hasn't been a blast on this ride. So thank you, ladies, for putting on such a great show. And that would include Sonia Foote right here. And Sonia's cruising along with her teammate, Jen Santoyo, there. Oh, gosh, is that the Chilean flag? I feel bad all of a sudden. I need to make sure that is the Chilean flag. Nathan and I, it's probably not now that I think about it. Nathan and I have spent a lot of time Puerto Rico. Yep, there you go. Good job. I apologize for that. It's the Puerto Rican flag, Nathan. I haven't hung out in Brooklyn enough.
Oh, good call there. Nice. Looks like. All right. Bishop,
we don't do that enough anymore, man.
Bishop.
We used to do all our country.
We used to. Well, I mean, now we feel like confident, and of course, it comes
experts.
Back to bite us, right?
We're experts now.
We're experts, supposedly, and then next thing you know, nope, sorry, you've got it completely wrong.
We didn't know Puerto Rico, so
yeah.
But yeah, back to the action, anyways, Nathan. I'm so glad you chose. That was your call, 100%. I want folks to get credit where it's due, and following these women was something that was. A decision that was made with a lot of thought, and it turned out that thought was well worth it, wasn't it, boss?
Yeah, and I'm really, really liking what's happening here between this entirety of this group. We get to see how this end final is going to play out, and I like also the fact that these women have a lot of motivation to put everything that they have out on course. There's some frustration probably amongst the groups, most likely, about where they're ending up and how they're ending up there, but at the same time, there's a reality that putting every ounce of effort throughout the entirety of the race to really make a just difficult race on the day. And this format's really encouraging that.
And Nathan, let's be honest here. You've got one of the greatest riders. If there was a Hall of Fame for esports, Kristen Kolchinski's in a first ballot for me. And she blows this race up, and that's tough for some of these women. But the way that they've raced, they wouldn't have it any other way in my mind. Sure, they would like to be doing better, but they don't want Kolchinsky to back off and beat her because she didn't try. They are going to keep fighting until they get her, or die trying. That's that mindset, that attitude. There's no quarter given, none is asked for, to be honest. And I love that about these ladies. Look at this pitch as it kicks up there. That's going to be
Whoa, Dave! Now
Quinones,
we missed it. We went back to cover some of the other groups here, and next thing you notice has an 11-second gap. Was that an
solo
anvil?
leader.
I wonder if she hit an anvil and no one else did on the downhill, or attacked at the bottom of this climb. It's one of those two, but what a move by Quinones. 12 seconds is nothing to wink at, Dave. That's massive.
I agree. I think it's the latter, to tell you the truth, Nathan. But we'll find out, because that's a great question. There's going to be 18 minutes of racing left, a big move now. So here's the damned if you do, damned if you don't moment, because the more you chase, and you can see that the Optomata Jean and Lieberman from ATP are going to be chasing, Ehrlich and Kolchinsky are sitting on, as they make any headway, or if, as they're not right now, the gap is going out, to tell you the truth, because this is how bike racing works, folks. This is a bike racing 101 moment, as you see now the fact that the other ladies realize if they start chasing, they're going to end up doing the work for Kolchinsky and get the counterattack, or from Ehrlich at this point. That's what's so bananas is now it's not just Kolchinsky. She's got teammates that are racing at a similar level, and ooh la la, as they say in France. I don't know what ooh la la equivalent is in Scotland, but this is certainly a command performance from Virginia Blue Ridge 2024 out here today.
They sent Quinones off the front so that they could attack over the top for those points and then bridge, it looks like. This is masterpiece, Dave.
It is. It truly is. Tactically, it doesn't get better. So literally, you send Quinones, force the others to chase. They chase for a while, start to tire, and then you attack them and take 1, 2, 3 out onto this the last 15 minutes of this race. They're holding on to the top 3 spots. They're collecting points like a boss here. I mean, it just, you can hear the cash register sound ringing every time you see them coming underneath a finish truss, Nathan, as it's just money stacked on money right now with what VBR 2024 is doing.
Yeah, and now it's all going to come back together between the three of them, I would think. Lieberman,
They
though, is
should.
on the chase.
It makes
looks
more
like
sense.
Here. Jean is right there as well. Quinones is just
Nathan,
pressing on, though. 4.4 watts per kilogram. She's not waiting up.
see now, in my mind, the way things are going and knowing how strong her teammates are, she's actually, this is one of the very few times that you'll hear me say this, that she's actually better to soft pedal for a moment and start working with these riders, because they are her teammates. There's no reason to hold them off. Do you follow me? Would you agree? And it's happening. You see that she's doing exactly that. She's just going to let them. She's not stopping riding. She's still racing very hard, folks. But what she's doing is not trying to hold them off. She's going to let them absorb, and these 3 are now going into, Nathan, super duper team time trial mode.
Super duper team time trial mode. I like that's like
Extra super.
We need like some sort of a, I don't know. We need a logo for super.
It might be something a 4-year-old would say, not a professional bike race announcer, but
we need like a logo for super duper team time trial mode with like, I don't know, like I picture like Howard
sell it to Martin.
Duck, something that looks like Howard the Duck, like
4 of them lined up, maybe.
yeah, all smiling with the thumbs up and holding like some sort of a banner or something. I don't know. All right,
good. You're my graphics department too.
Kolchinsky heads to the front. It looks like Ehrlich looking to hold on to her wheel, and I think she's just going to drive this pace now and make sure that the 3 of them can make a jailbreak at this point, because this is points on points on points on points, Dave.
Yeah. And so, Nathan, can we look forward to, not saying that this race is over, but, there's 2 more races coming up in the ZRL finals. Big shout out to Martin for all of his hard work. He has really been on the grind creating this ZRL finals format. This is brand new. 45 minutes of racing out here. We've talked about it a couple times, but if you're just joining us again, the races will stop in place like a cakewalk. Did you ever do a cakewalk when you were a kid, Nathan? I don't know if those were maybe even older for someone like my generation, but you would walk around and then you'd stop and then they draw a number. And if you were on space 17, you'd win the cake. Well, they're in space 1, 2, and 3 in this cakewalk out here right now. And or musical chairs, another way to put it. But at 45 minutes, the music stops. The racer's place will be frozen. And if we stop this race right now in no particular order, it would, well, in this order now, it's going to be, if I hold off for one more second, nope, Ehrlich not passing Kolchinski, so Kristen's still holding on. That's KK on the front, Emily Ehrlich, and Quinones, the other rider here, who's been, I think Ehrlich now is just slightly in front of Laurel Quinones as far as their emergence at the very highest level here. But this is the vanguard. These are the women that are riding. And don't forget Marlies Mejias back there as well on this team, and Alana Brady. With Nicole Steinmetz, but these three have been clocking the points out here for VVR 2024. Nathan, is they're down to 13 minutes of racing, and Lieberman and Jean might, and Thurine, it looks like Optimum might. Oh, good job. Looks like some points coming through here.
Well, big shout out to Martin, who absolutely scrambled to make that happen for us.
Thank you,
actually,
Martin.
over at WTRL, and I know
That's
it's been a
great.
big
Really appreciate
weekend
it.
for him. I think he said something along the lines of 6
Oh.
hours of sleep over 3 days. So great job to him for putting that together
Oh.
for us after a lot of scrambling around.
Nobody works harder.
Yeah.
Nobody works harder than Martin at WTRL. It's just absolutely incredible. Martin, get some sleep.
Well, it looks like Lieberman, though, challenging a little bit. Not that it's going to change things, I think, for the team overall, but good on her grabbing third place at the moment on the points. But she's going to have to really put an effort in here to keep in that, to stay ahead of Quinones, because Quinones has the distance now to better her on points because of the points that will happen after the banners here. So FAL are going to keep on building up, but the meters will start piling on the points later on.
At first, I thought, well, look at Lieberman. I was going to say, does she match the points from Russell and Grossman there for Riot? But then if you go a little further down, you can see that Reel and Rathwell make things better for Riot right now. It looks like, Nathan, just on the raw aggregate here, I'm going to say that VBR and then Riot and then Optimum, and then it's tough, actually, to say whether Lieberman's points, but I think
because Bronson is here. Yeah. Bronson is here.
Right.
Optimum's a little bit ahead. It's a tough one. So right race? Now, really, yeah, you're right. That is the bike race, because these two Optimums up ahead, they are going to be putting a little bit of a wrench in for Bronson. But Bronson's getting some help here alongside of Lieberman, because Lieberman is so close. Whoa! That anvil, do these ladies have anvils up ahead? That's a big question here. And Kolchinski does, but the others two don't. Does she wait up is going to be the big question, because Lieberman's got a little extra speed, and she could get back on terms before the finish of this race.
Think about this anvil. It's become the power up of note. It runs for a long time and has a massive impact, and the racers have really learned how to use their Zwiftcraft and take advantage of that. Lieberman charging right now. Kolchinski, Ehrlich, Lieberman, Quinones, and Russell are top points gatherer. Kolchinski's just riding in a different planet right now, just another level coming from her. Same thing you could say about Ehrlich, as a matter of fact. Riot strongly in second based on the map that I'm looking at here. But this is Rachel Lieberman, who's going to be in a real battle here. Every point's going to matter when it comes down to sitting third after the day of racing. We're down to very close to 10 minutes of racing remaining here.
And as we make our way through here, this last 10 minutes is going to be crucial, the way that Lieberman and Jean work together versus the VBR 24 3-up monster train that's there. Quinones now taking over toward the front. Kolchinski getting a little bit of a reprieve for a moment, it looks like. And all together, Ehrlich now taking over, it looks like. Actually, I think they're going to start taking solid trades, knowing that there is a little bit of a threat behind. It's a 2v3 situation here, and we've got 3 of the strongest women in Zwift versus 2 of the strongest as well in this Americas here. Now, Jean heads to the front, Lieberman sitting in, and now it looks like the handshake has happened, Dave.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well put, Nathan. As this is going to be Michelle Jean, the Watt machine of the Optimum team. Right behind her is the renowned climber and Zwifter Maximum there, Rachel Lieberman, racing out of Seattle. So, Nathan, these two will be working together. the points that we've seen, it looks like that actually updated again here
Yeah, Dave, I did want to
with
point out real quickly on the points, just real quick. The FTS are probably not changing from this point. So double 20s for Kolchinsky with that 40, Ehrlich with the
the
25, Lieberman with 20. So Lieberman's she's got that really solid 20 holding her in that spot. But Quinones this next time over the top, maybe able to kind of jump ahead in just a moment here, depending on the would be to challenge in some sort of way the point structure that is with Quinones because I'm right behind her or
sure.
whatever it might be.
And if I'm Optimum, Nathan, I'm like, hey, if you're going to kick everybody's ass, kick her ass too, please. Like help us out a little bit. And this is where what you do impacts other teams and the ripple effect, right? Off of the front group here. Um, because as you said, these athletes, Nathan, they really, you can't really, it's like a police dog. You can't throttle them back. They're either on or off. And when you're in full race mode, you're in full race mode. And I would say that for Laura Quinones, that's the case. She's in full race mode right now.
Did
So
you see
here we
that
go.
awesome shot there for a second? Like
Wow,
that
beautiful.
moon
Yeah.
off in the distance there. I've actually not seen that shot yet. It feels like something out of Star Wars,
Is that
actually, a little bit. I mean, that's
it does.
pretty
It feels
cool.
like that's not a moon. That's a Death Star.
That's where
I'm
these
just
three
kidding.
actually
That's a
that's
moon.
where these three actually came from. Just so you know. It's like
they they beamed out of a Death Star to race today. It wouldn't surprise me if Nikki Cranmer's taken it to that level. I mean, this team's just been phenomenal. It's been fun to watch.
Gene
I
has
mean, so
dropped Lieberman
she.
now at this point. A little bit of a distance now, and it wasn't Anvil that made it happen. Lieberman tried with the arrow power up, but was unable to hold on to the wheel. That Anvil, it's so strong through
I
the
might
dirt.
give Gene. I might give Gene the Rookie of the Year. To tell you the truth, Nathan, because I can't call Erlach and Quinones rookies. They've had more than a season in, but every one of the Optimum women were new to us this season, and I would say that this has been a super talent. Good job, Michelle. Rookie of the Year from me.
See if we get a little bit of update to the boards here in just a
No,
second.
no
See what we
cash
have.
prize associated with that, unfortunately, for Michelle, but I'm sure
As
she's happy to hear it.
Gene comes through at 180 beats per minute, 5 minutes of racing left. Lieberman trying to close things down. The effort is definitely there from Lieberman. She wants to shut this down right now. See if she can pull some energy here from the sprites as she comes through the stone hedge area out on course. 11 seconds for Gene to get back on terms. Kolchinsky starts to ramp things up. It'll be the final time through, and I think they'll make it, Dave, for another FAL.
You got to be kidding me. I just finally found out what those things are called after Googling it for 5 years of those same sprites that you're talking about. That's the first time I've ever heard that term. I know there's Sprite the drink, but that's what a sprite is because aren't there sprites in Watopia as well? That
Yeah,
are different kind of. They're like
where
glowing
are they?
bulbs.
Oh yeah,
I don't know,
well
but
those ones are glowworms, I think.
they're weird.
The ones that are in
Yeah.
the cave that are by the Alp, the Zwift, like in the jungle. Those are glowworms, I believe. But yeah, it's similar, very similar.
Yeah, just part of this world of Zwift that's so fascinating and incredible and keeps it so fun for folks. I don't think it's fun for some of these ladies because they're deep, deep in the pain cave. No sprites to cheer you up. Kristen Kuczynski's just put the pizza order in, I would think, because this is going to be worthy. Don't you think? This is she's earned the pizza again here, no doubt. Uh,
Now
for
I
the
called them
team.
sprites. I mean sprites. I'm sorry, I'm on that still. Okay, but like
Is that
this
a
is
mythical
always a
thing?
thing. It is. It is a mythical thing. And I think that's what they're called. Fairy-like creature who lives by water. Sprites are supernatural, sometimes tricksy, and they're these little like fairy-like things. But that's what I'm calling those. They might be something else to
Like
some other people, but
Tinkerbell, kind of.
kind
Sort
of.
of like
Kind
Tinkerbell.
of, but there's
Kind of.
also
In
like
that
wisps are also another thing that are similar to sprites, and those might be more of a wisp because I don't see any kind of body form to them, so they might be more of just like a spirit
sure.
rather than a fairy.
you're not talking. So, Nathan, you know that you've got a dominant team ride when we're able to talk about sprites, fairies, wisps, and stuff, because these ladies have now, they're riding in a different universe, actually, talking about our leaders, Kocinski, Quinones, and Ehrlich. Haven't really seen anything quite like this. Part of it is Kolchinski's on world championship form. Ehrlich and Quinones are both on not only great esport form, but they're also on in real life great form right now. So, I mean, they're just firing on every cylinder in the engine. And Nathan, they ride together as three across the line in my mind because that's the best photo finish or the best finish photo. Not that we need a photo finish here. I think that it'd be very cool to see these three gladiators come across the line together, and I think they think the same.
Yeah, I'm not sure Kolchinski's going to get too much, and really the amount of points
Why
that they
would
can
you attack your
gain,
team? Yeah.
at this point, you can just give them more meters, right? So there isn't really much of
Oh,
any.
so,
So
but you know what? At this point now, I think that enough is enough. At some point, grace has to come in. You know what I'm saying? Where
yeah,
it's like,
yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. Kolchinski with 119, Ehrlich there 92, Lieberman holding off at 74. She might have just been overtaken by Quinones, as it takes about 30 seconds to a minute for these to update. So we'll see if we'll get an update. 26 seconds back, it looks like, for Michelle Jean. It's going to be Lieberman 13 seconds back. There's a little bit of a battle, and that was the battle we were talking about between ATP and Optimum, as well as Optimum and Riot out there. But Riot have faded, it seems to me. Megan Rathwell is now quite a ways back. Has been overtaken by Jen
interesting.
Reel, who's, I think, her endurance is starting to shine here. That's what's happening with Jennifer Reel.
That's a very good point. Jennifer Reel really has moved into that next phase of esports where she's got that muscle memory and the ability to. I mean, she's a rider that gets stronger as others start to fade, and that's huge in personal development. That's what Nicole Steinmetz that we're jumping in with now, another one of the VBR 2024 riders out here. Nathan, we're down to less than a minute of racing. These riders know that, so the last push is underway. It's like the final trades on the stock market floor here. Everybody's scrambling to get the last watts out, and then this one is done and dusted today.
Last watts here, and it's important because this 45 seconds, Dave, it's going to come right to the line for the rider like Steinmetz. If she makes it, there will be extra FALs available for her. Not that VBR 2024 necessarily need all of those extra FALs, but it is a little bit
Still,
of a
though,
boost.
so it's a target. It's a target for sure. I get it. I expect her. She is. She's going for it. She's using her power up and she's throwing some watts. Look at this, Nathan. Over 6 watts per kilo at this point after a tough day. Good job, Nicole.
Oh, 201, 202
She'll make it. She'll
beats
make
per
it.
minute here, Dave. This is massive effort here coming
She's
from
gonna
Steinmetz. Oh,
makes it by 4 seconds.
back. Champagne's just going to come in.
Oh!
And Jennifer's not going to make it. Jen,
Oh, come on.
So close, Jennifer.
Come on.
Jen.
You got to give it to her there.
That was right there. It was right there for real. Oh, it's rough. That's rough.
Wow, that was fun. That was great racing, ladies. Boy, VBR 2024 just smashed it tonight.
100%. Amazing job all around. And if we take a quick little look here, the final points total, almost, these may update one more time, but this gives you a good idea where things were at the end of the race. We will have results here in just a second. Oh, there we go. Now we have another update here, and there's Ehrlich. Quinones does take over the next spot, it looks like here. Followed up by Lieberman.
Look at Marlies Mejias.
That's a big result for her.
Very impressive.
Interesting.
Rachel Lieberman.
I'm not sure if these actually include I don't think these include the meters, though. And so, once those come in, things will change up a little bit. But this is the FAL and the FTS.
You make a good point, Nathan. Marlies probably does slide down a little bit when those meters are calculated in. But either way, great job. And certainly want to give a shout out to Rachel Lieberman for ATP for really hanging in there and throwing big punches with the ladies. Same thing for Michelle Jean, the Quebecoise woman on Optimum. And you can see there our friend Anna Russell. Looking forward, Nathan, to this Thursday. The wrap has become a huge success as far as, I mean, I just hear people talking about it. I learned stuff. So thanks to Anna and you for the wrap. Jen Rio, Christina Grossman, and then on Sophie Darian there for Optum. That might be, well, it'll be interesting to see how third and fourth sort out. In my mind, I've got Riot, but all of that is available at WTRL.racing, where you can find up-to-date information. If you want to get involved, you can do the same. And a big thank you to Martin for going above and beyond to help create the ZRL finals. Great new format here today, 45 minutes of racing with all the favorite elements of WTRL's enhancement of ZRL, but some new features too, just like in real life racing, Nathan. People are trying to figure out more ways to keep this fresh.
Real quickly, I believe that these are just double checking to make sure. Just double checking to make sure that these are. I'm getting a message.
I'm surprised.
Right, it should be
because of
it
ATP.
Sounds like. And so it looks like
I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That just goes to show you those points after the top 10 made a huge difference as ATP ends up in second. So I'm willing to own it. When I was wrong, I thought Riot had done enough, but you can see that they're going to finish in third today with BBR 2024 taking the 20 points for the win. ATP Racing Stingers 19, Riot third at 18, 17 for OTR. And fellow Optimum, with Michelle Jean having a great ride, it still wasn't enough to bring them out of the
Now, I don't know,
top
like,
five.
we're going to double check these. I'm going to double check these because I'm getting a feeling. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if things came through correctly on that.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm not,
now,
I'm not absolutely positive. I'm looking at it and starting to do a little bit of math. I'm like, we gave it a try. I'm going to see if they should be correct, but
it was better than nothing today. That's for sure. You know,
yeah, that's true.
I mean, we had a lot of numbers that was fun to look at and give us some more substance and depth. So thank you.
We had fun with numbers. We had fun with numbers.
Those
are provisional results. Once everything is finalized, you can head on over to WTRL.racing and get that. I really, and I do want to also. There is a reality that, like, we have an event organizer that is pushing the boundaries of the platform, right? Like, none of these points are calculated within the world of Zwift. It's all set up and organized completely by WTRL, and so is doing a really good job with what he has available to him. And really, I love the way that it's pushing the ways in which we can race. We have a new world. We have a new way of racing as far as the format goes and to take things on. And the feedback, I think, has been amazing to get things to where it's at now, too. There's tension. There's people who get frustrated, but those tensions, they can be creative forces when you use them for a positive thing like this. And, you come out on the other side with something sharper almost always if people really put their best effort forward. And I think that's what the community alongside of WTRL and Zwift have really been doing. And I personally, as far as commentary goes, and if I were able to race today, I think would really, really enjoy the Type 2 fun. Personally, I actually was really, really contemplating it, but I ended up just doing some speed work because Nathan's legs just needed recovery. But if I could, I would definitely have been checking this out because it seems like a really exciting format.
Besides, Gabby Guerra crushed it in her comeback.
Okay, thanks for that one. Oh my gosh, I'm so wanting to just sit here and boost her up right now because
that's awesome.
This is a
huge
broadcast,
comeback,
right?
folks.
The European women's Gabby just demolished it. I was so proud of her. Amazing job to her. Breely and her went off the front. The Swedish riders, it looked like, were there waiting for the sprints. They didn't allow the way that it sounded like the other EMEA Cup played out was that the Swedish riders wanted to sit in and wait for the sprints and make it over the top of the climb with the climbers as best as they could, and the climbers just didn't allow it, and it just ended up splitting apart. So nice job on Breely and Gabriella making that happen today. So I don't know how Beast Mode will end up though, because I'm not sure that they were able to have enough riders besides, because Sweden might have had more force overall. You know what I mean? More riders overall to grab points. So we'll end up seeing. I haven't taken a look at the results yet. So.
End of the day, this means to a lot of folks out there with more than 10,000 racers, who this is a big part of their life. Some of these great stories happen. So there's just another one for you. We'll be back again next Tuesday with more racing, always go to WTRL.racing for information. As Nathan said, these things can be fluid, and pushing these envelopes. And great point there, Nathan. I understand people are really intense about this, but try to remember to be kind and nice to each other as well along the way here. And we will improve this thing step by step. But today's a blast. Good sign for the future.
100%. We'll see you all on Thursday. For the wrap, we have a guest, Leah Thorvalson, the first ever Zwift Academy winner. So make sure to tune in for that. Will be a reminder out on our Instagram and other socials very shortly to set your reminder to watch the wrap. It is scheduled on our YouTube at this moment, so you can go hit a reminder over there as well. And then, of course, we'll be back at you next week. It'll be on over and over again, 10 times through the Clyde Kicker and the Champion Sprint over in the Glasgow Crit Course. From myself and Dave Towle, thanks everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next week. As always, ride on.